In Britain, the Reform UK leader Nigel Farage has resigned as an MP for Clacton-on-sea, triggering a by-election in which he will stand again. He made a statement this afternoon to address public and media scrutiny of his finances and said he has not broken the law. Mr Farage said his constituents will be the judges of his actions.
I've done nothing wrong. I've thought about it hard and I've decided today I will resign as a Member of Parliament for Clacton-on-sea, thereby forcing a by-election, which should happen, I hope, in short order.
After weeks of being on the ropes from multiple media and official investigations into millions of pounds worth of undeclared gifts and accumulated wealth, Nigel Farage moved to get ahead of events, causing his own by-election instead of being forced into one by the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner.
No, I've decided that the people of Clacton should be the judges of my actions. This will be a people versus the establishment by-election. It's a chance to stick two fingers up to the entire establishment, to frankly tell them where to go. And that is why I will be putting my name forward to stand in this by-election.
Mr Farage is under investigation from the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner for not declaring a £5 million gift from Thailand-based cryptocurrency billionaire Christopher Harborne. Recent revelations that he failed to declare 3 of the 5 homes he and his partner own in England, and his close association with a convicted fraudster who served jail time in the United States and who has paid for travel, accommodation, security and social media staff for Mr Farage, has added to calls for a deeper probe of his finances. Now he wants his voters to help him stop what he calls an establishment stitch-up.
And I would say this to you, the voters of Clacton: if I win, you win. Because if I lose, they win.
Well, for more on this, we can cross over to Sean now, who is standing by in London. And Sean, this seems to be Nigel Farage's attempt to seize control of the narrative. I suppose the question is, will it work?
Well, will it work? He will probably get re-elected in the constituency of Clacton. It was a very Brexity constituency. A lot of old people live there. They tend to vote for reform. So he'd be fairly safe in calling this by-election. The question is, and he's pitching it as an anti-establishment vote, is the establishment prepared to play ball? Will they actually stand candidates? Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the Conservatives, says the Conservatives will not stand a candidate. The Liberal Democrats also saying they won't stand, and neither should anybody else stand. So there's a prospect that he might stand in a by-election and have no real competition there. It has happened before. David Davis, the former, better known as a Brexit minister, he stood in 2008 on trying to attract attention to a particular issue in Parliament. None of the other parties stood against him. He did get returned to Parliament, but in rather ignominious circumstances. So you can see the same thing happening to Nigel Farage, because so far the only person who has declared an interest in standing against him is that well-known stalwart of by-elections in Britain, Count Binface, and he could become just the only person standing against Nigel Farage in a by-election. Will it head off the scrutiny that he's been facing, increasing scrutiny? I don't think so.
An interesting few weeks ahead, Sean in London. Thanks indeed. Well, we're going to stay with that story and we can speak to Professor of Politics at Queen Mary University of London, Tim Bale. Professor Bale, thanks indeed for joining us on 6-1. What is Nigel Farage's game plan here?
Well, his game plan presumably is to distract, at least temporarily, from the allegations that he's facing. He's also, I think, framing this by-election in typically populist fashion as him against the establishment on behalf of the people. It's a framing that some of his die-hard supporters may find attractive. I'm not sure that voters in general, though, are going to buy that story.
Is it risk-free for him then, triggering this by-election? What are his chances of actually winning it?
Well, I think his chances of winning it are very, very good, particularly as we're just hearing that the other political parties are probably not going to fight it. So he could end up actually simply fighting a whole bunch of novelty candidates, in which case any win that he does have is going to be, I think, pretty hollow.
What's the logic behind that, the decision of the other parties not to contest this by-election? Because I see them saying that they'll contest the next one. Can you explain what their strategy is here?
Yes, I mean, I feel that they think it is a stunt. The Conservative leader has described it as a hissy fit. They think he's trying to wriggle out of accountability. If he wins the by-election, he will actually find that the investigation will simply restart. He could then face another by-election if he's suspended from the Commons for over 10 days. And there is a recall petition, in which case they will then fight him, I think, on the issues. But they feel right now that it's just a waste of time, and it will simply grant him the oxygen of publicity on which he thrives.
As you say there, the ability of Nigel Farage to capture attention is pretty impressive. Even his opponents would concede to that. And we saw it today. Everyone was tuning in at 2 o'clock to see what he was going to say. If he were to lose that by-election, if that were to happen, would that be the end of Reform UK? Is it a one-man party?
I think certainly Farage is the key to Reform's success. I don't doubt that there is a market for a populist radical right party in Britain, just as there is in other parts of Europe. But he has become so associated with the brand that it's difficult to see them doing anything like as well without him.
It's going to be an interesting few weeks ahead. Professor Tim Bale, thanks indeed for joining us on 6-1.